Hi, good evening. This is John Hawkins Jr. with Gateway Counseling Center. This is our Tuesday night Facebook Live. We do this every Tuesday night at 8:15, where I answer any questions that come in throughout the week, talk about different issues related to relationships, mental health, spirituality, performance, coaching. I do all those kind of things. I'm a trauma addiction specialist, couples therapist, and peak performance coach. We are Gateway Counseling Center once again here in Boynton Beach, Florida, where we are sheltering in place like everyone else right now, but we are still open for in sessions. We're doing a lot of online counseling too, so I have a lot of clients that maybe due to their age or high risk, or they just don't want to get out in public right now. We're all trying to be responsible with the coronavirus, so I can do everything I do in session online as well. So if you're stuck home struggling with fear, anxiety, or any other issues, you can reach out to us. You can go to www.gatewaycounseling.com to contact us, schedule a session. We can set all that up for you. And we have a mission here at Gateway Counseling Center to help as many people as we can, using every way we can. So that's why we do these Tuesday night Facebook Lives, trying to get accurate information, helpful information, resources for you. Anywhere we can refer you, just to be as help to as many people as we can. You can help us help other people by sharing any of the information on Tuesday nights that you find helpful, you think anyone could benefit from. You can reach me during the week at johnh@gatewaycounseling.com. I will respond to you throughout the week, or you can ask me questions Tuesday night, or if you watch the recording later on YouTube or Facebook, you can question us again, or like I said, share that information. Tonight's topic I want to talk about is a really common issue that comes up in my relationship counseling with individuals, sometimes with a strained relationship with couples where people are considering leaving a bad relationship, and that's one of the blocks people have is a fear of aloneness. It's a real common one. I think deep down somewhere in all of us, this fear exists until we overcome it or conquer it. We're social animals as human beings. We're wired for connection on a biological level. And so there's, I've had so many clients over the years that were in neglectful, abusive, addictive relationship, all kinds of different things, that was one of their biggest blocks to getting out of a toxic situation was the fear of being alone is worse. So I want to give you some reasons why that's such a big fear for people, and also some ways to overcome that fear and be able to break out so you have healthy relational leverage. And so once you are good to go, I can be outside of a romantic relationship. I'm okay, I'm enough, I still feel worthy, lovable, I still have plenty of connections in my life, that I don't have to tolerate any abusive or negative behavior ever again. So that's the payoff for conquering this. I've never had one client who took the time to work on themselves ever regret it. Everyone will tell you, I can bring on all kinds of testimonials that, man, that was the best thing I ever did. I'm so glad I took the time to do that, to conquer this fear. Because I can tell you the fear really is a shadow on the wall. It looks this big, but the actual thing is this big. So once you conquer it, I'm telling you, you are good to go, like I mentioned. So one of the things that really developed that for people is they don't have a strong identity of who they are. So they have to be connected to somebody else to have their own sense of self or identity. They don't have a full sense of self. The other thing in relation to that is they don't feel worthy or lovable outside of a relationship. If somebody isn't, admiring me, connected to me, telling me how wonderful I am, I don't feel that way. So that's, part of what they talk about when they talk about codependency is I'm dependent on this person for my worth and value. Without them, I don't feel worthy and value. It kind of proves it in value. And the fear of aloneness often then goes into the fear of, would someone love me, or who will love me? I'm glad you feel that way, honey. Nice to see you. The other thing that I would say, the big issue around that is there's times in people's history where they were alone, let's say throughout childhood, maybe they were abandoned, neglected, and so there's a lot of unprocessed emotions of like shame and sadness and helplessness that have never been resolved. So the thought of being outside of a relationship is really scary for them, because they don't want to go back to that place emotionally, because they never really resolved that place emotionally. So those three things, like I said, not having a strong enough sense of self, not feeling worthy and valuable without being with somebody, and having unprocessed emotions from times that I felt alone, helpless, trapped. So the way to overcome this fear is it's not about being alone. You want to be connected to as many people as you can. Like when people, I think when I talk about, conquering the fear of aloneness or leaving a bad relationship, the image people get in their mind of I'm in a dark apartment with a candle, no electricity, sitting there all by myself, terrified and depressed. That's not what we're talking about. It's being connected to tons of people, everybody who's healthy, having all kinds of social connections. It's just saying I'm not in the middle of being in a romantic relationship right now until I feel secure within myself and I develop a strong sense of who I am. Because then that's going to put me in the best position to be in a healthy relationship and be with somebody. And so the way you develop that strong sense of self is being connected to others in a healthy way, but then really exploring yourself and getting to know yourself. Like, what do I like? What do I dislike? What's meaningful to me? What do I find purpose in? What do I enjoy? What's significant? And you start to develop that. You make space to explore all parts of yourself, and that's a lot of what we do in therapy. It's like, okay, you have a safe space to try anything on, any kind of thoughts, feelings, behaviors you want to experiment with, maybe parts of yourself that you had to disconnect from or dissociate or disown. I can reclaim and reintegrate those parts of myself to become whole and full again in a relationship, like therapeutically, where I'm not going to get codependent on the therapist, or he's not going to, or she is not going to let that happen, but they're going to encourage me, challenge me to build that strong sense of identity. And then where I develop through being emotionally healthy, becoming whole, my spirituality, where I find that within myself, I already have love, worth. I don't need to get that from outside myself. I already am it. If that makes good English sense, I don't know. But you get what I'm talking about. It's like I've got to find that within myself, and then having people who treat me and value me that way, and then that source within me that can love the rest of me in that way. And then the other part, like that, when I was mentioning that there can be unprocessed emotions around, times in childhood or adolescence where I just felt so alone and unworthy, is getting help with somebody like myself processing those emotions so that part of you can then break free from that time and not fear that anymore, not fear that I'm going to get sucked back into that state emotionally. So remember, staying connected to others, working with the right people to develop a strong sense of self, realizing that you have a source of infinite love within you that can heal all parts of you. As a therapist, I'm, offering unconditional love, support, and guidance, but we are also possess that within ourselves, and I want to help you tap into that, where then you don't fear and I have to have that from outside myself, like it doesn't exist except out somebody's got to love me or tell me I'm worthy or I'm not. And then resolving those unprocessed emotional wounds or blocked emotions from times that you were alone and helpless, like in childhood, because you get sucked into that place and you lose contact with who I am now, and that I can just leave and walk out and find connections and build a different life for myself. So I hope that was helpful. If you found that beneficial, send that and forward that to anybody you feel could benefit. You can find us here on Facebook every Tuesday night at 8:15. We're also on Facebook. We have the Mind Zone group. You can follow us on YouTube at Gateway Counseling Center, Instagram at Gateway Center, and then always you can reach me at johnh@gatewaycounseling.com. So I'll see you guys next week. Be safe, be corona free, but don't get swallowed in fear. Stay optimistic. We're going to get to the other side of this. We're going to learn, grow from it, be all the better for it. And I will see you guys next Tuesday night at 8:15. Have a great week.